Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katy.
It's episode 303.
What shall we call this?
Where do leads go?
Yeah.
Not when they die, but where do they go when you get them?
How do you sort your people? How to stay organized?
Yeah. We don't have a good working title.
Yeah, we're working on that, but...
We'll wait for AI to tell us later, but for now, that's what it is.
You want to hear how I did this in 2011?
Absolutely. Take us back in time.
Back in time. In 2011, when I was a brand new agent, mostly working phone duty and open houses and whatever I could do. Anytime I got a lead of any kind, it went in the notes section of my phone that I had labeled pipeline.
Okay.
And I had A, B, C, D.
You were digitized.
I was. And A was people who were pre-approved, ready, actively working on their house. B was definitely interested, but I'm waiting on them to do their homework that I have given them, but I need to remember to follow up with them. C is you reached out to me, but you've kind of been ghosting me. You've been a little flaky, but I need to remember you.
I'm going to keep talking
I'm going to keep checking in with you. And then D was maybe they were over a year out. People that were leads but had no time frame, weren't looking right now, weren't selling right now.
Okay, it was more like a gentle...
But I realized very quickly I needed to remember all these people.
Yes.
And what's interesting is before I started that system, I remember feeling like I had nothing.
And then you wrote them all down.
And then when I wrote them all down, within 2 weeks, the list was so long.
You're hold up.
And then I started thinking, how can I get people from B to A and C to B?
This is genius.
That became my motivation because my C column was getting so long.
And these were the ghosties.
Yeah, hey, we're thinking about buying. And I'm like, awesome. Have you been pre-approved yet? No, not yet. Okay, well, here's what we need to do next. Let me know how your schedule looks. Crickets.
C for crickets.
C for crickets. Yes.
Okay,
for sure.
Perfect.
And then I don't know what year I discovered Trello.
Okay. Oh, I wish we knew.
I guess I could go look at my account and see.
Did you use it prior to having an assistant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been years.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. But I basically transitioned it over to Trello.
Okay.
And so, as y'all mostly know, if you Google Hustle Humbly Trello video, the short YouTube video will come up showing how I took my notes section and put it into Trello and how I can drag my cards, move my people from A to B.
It's basically a class, a quick 15, 20-minute video. If you on regular speed, you could probably speed it up.
Mm-hmm. Class
on how to use Trello. Trello is free.
Yes.
And this is how you took what was in the notes section and then put it into an even more organized form.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and people ask all the time, do I use the paid Trello for upgrades? I don't. I'm really I make a few notes inside the cards. I don't even really use the checklist features and stuff, even though I think for someone who has a team or an assistant, the checklist feature would be great.
Yeah.
So everybody could stay on the same page. Since it's just me, I just need the visual.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see their name.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, this is that. When I checked in with that person, or it's been a while. I need to follow up.
Okay.
So I just need the visual representation.
Yeah, it's just a placeholder for you to be able to remember everyone. And when you look at that person, where they're at.
Yeah. And that is how I was tracking leads.
Okay.
Not to be confused with a database.
Not the same.
Not the same at all.
No, the database is a group of people you're trying to market to, I would say, or build a relationship with in order to get future business, whether it be referral. They could be a past client, but they could be not a client before. It could be your aunt.
Yeah.
Maybe, obviously, your aunt. You have a relationship with your aunt. You might be deepening that relationship with your aunt. You're making sure she remembers that you are in real estate, but you're not. She doesn't need to be on Trello. She's not a prospect. She didn't say she was buying or selling.
Correct.
But she's on your database because you have a relationship.
Yes. And we have plenty of database episodes.
So many.
And this episode is not about the database.
No,
this is about sorting your
leads.
Your leads.
We were asked a question, what do you literally do with leads? Like, where do they physically go? So thank you for sharing your previous, and it's quite simple, right?
So simple.
You either had the leads, they were on your notes, which people could still use that method.
You could totally use that method.
Or now you put them on Trello onto your prospects board.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I brought a visual aid, which I don't know if people will be able to see very well, but I'll hold it up for you two. This is a piece of paper, a singular one sheet of paper. This is my weekly activity sheet. I made it very early in my career because I too needed a visual where I could see my entire business. I don't like to use a paper planner. It doesn't work for me. I don't want to open it. I don't want to find the page. I don't want to fill it out. It's not working. My calendar is in my Google Calendar.
Mm-hmm.
But I did need an overview of my leads and my business. So I made this very early on. It's got all the days of the week where I could put in if I had appointments. And then it has a side that is my current client list. It has it divided into 4 groups.
Okay.
Buyers, sellers, buyers/sellers, so they're doing both, and investors.
Great.
And if I got a lead, I would stick them on this list.
Beautiful.
And then I would maybe highlight them if they were hot, or I would, just leave them regular if they were not. And sometimes I would put in parentheses, if they had said, I'm planning to buy next spring, I would put spring 24 or whatever was happening. It looks like not much would fit here. And I will admit, obviously, your business volume is larger than mine. I could fit like 50 people here.
I was about to say, you could fit as many people as you want.
Y'all, that's a lot of people. You probably don't have 50 legitimate prospects. I mean, like people who you've met and who've said, I think I would like to buy or sell in the future.
Sure.
So it fit fine. Underneath that, I put what my current pendings were. I put what my current listings were. So it just kind of helped me figure out who's like a lead, who's actually transacting right now, and who do I have, like, it's my whole business on one sheet of paper.
Well, you know what I think the point of all of this is? You have to have some sort of system that gets it out of your head.
Yes.
If you are still operating thinking you're going to remember these things, you're not.
No.
And you may be in a slow season of life right now, but it only takes 1 second for something to happen that makes your brain go poof, and you don't remember who you're supposed to call, who you're supposed to follow up with, who you're supposed to remember.
I remember taking a class with Lee Brown in person at the board years ago. And I remember her telling a story, and I don't remember the whole reason for the story, but it was she had been at the football field with her kids. She met someone, or someone called her and was like, someone in a neighborhood she'd been dying to work in. She was so excited, but she's like, hey, listen, I'm at the ball field, so I'm going to have to call you back later. La, la, la. She continues on with coaching the team. Everything's fine. And then she lays down in bed and she's like, her eyes are closing and she shoots up. Oh my God.
I did not call them.
I was so excited to get that lead and I did not record it anywhere. And I just went on with my day and I forgot. And now I've got to backtrack and be like, sorry, I forgot to call yesterday.
But I swear you want to work with me.
This is not a good start.
Not a good start.
This is not a good start. So writing it down is crucial. Now, when I get a buyer, I got a new buyer, so I brought my buyer lead sheet. When I get a new buyer, I have buyer lead sheets. When I started real estate, I had scratch sheets of paper, right?
Yeah.
Just whatever paper was lying around. Maybe I had a notebook, whatever. Someone calls and wants to buy or sell. I just jot down all their information best I could with no system, and then I'd follow up later. Now I have buyer lead sheets. Actually, you know who taught me this? Lee Brown.
Amazing.
She's a systems queen.
Yeah.
So I have a buyer lead sheet. I have a seller version. If someone calls me or says, like, for instance, yesterday, I got a text from a past client who copied me on a friend of theirs and was like, hey, will you help them buy? And I was like, sure. Can we talk later? Yes. Okay. So before I made the phone call, I got out my lead sheet. That way I don't forget to ask them the questions I need to know in order to serve them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a buyer version, seller version. They're organized they're organized in the way that I have the conversation. Before, it had their contact information way at the top. That's not a natural way to talk to someone.
Yes.
Hi, Sue. Thanks for calling. Can you tell me your email, your phone number, your address? Okay, thanks. Now, why were you calling me?
Right.
No, that's not natural. I put it all the way down the bottom. I structured it how it's natural for me to talk to someone.
Okay.
Why are you moving is at the top.
Yeah.
Are you working with an agent? Do you have a home to sell? Like all of these things are in. So I fill out the lead sheet. They could be a great lead.
Mhm.
I could be like, this is going to work out. Or after I fill it out, I can be like, they're not going to be able to buy.
Right.
So I take it and then I take this lead sheet and I keep it in a folder of prospective buyers and I add them to my leads on my actual planner page, right? So I'm like, that's where they are. I tried Trello. I just don't like to log in.
So you know what's funny? The app is amazing. It's hard to find something that the app and the desktop are good.
Yeah, you're right.
But I set up my internet browser on my laptop that on startup, so when I click it to open it, it opens up.
There.
Yes, it opens up Trello. So it's just there. I'm not logging in. It just opens. My email and MLS.
It's a really good tip.
So it just opens.
Like,
and it kind of forces me to look at it. And I make it be that page.
Yeah.
So I see it before I see my email.
Is it your prospect page of Trello?
It's
or
my
is
actual
it your
pipeline.
It's the pipeline. So those transactions. So to clarify for anyone, if you go, we're not going to go deep into it because you can go watch the YouTube video. Alissa has 2 boards on Trello. One board is called prospects.
Yes. And those are people that don't need weekly attention.
Okay.
And then the pipeline is like, this is my active business that I need to be moving along.
Yeah.
I need to get these people from pre-listing to listing. I need to get these buyers from pre-buyer to BBA signed to actually under contract.
Yeah.
So it's just a helpful visual.
Yes, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's back it up and answer the question of, you got the lead. Where does it go? You're putting it on Trello. How long does the lead stay on Trello? Does it go to your database?
Okay. So when every lead is different.
Right.
If this is at this point in our business, we are repeat referral.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't, neither of us do internet leads per se. So if I get a sign call or a stranger like that, the first thing I do is usually I put them on speaker. And I'm usually opening my notes or an email to myself.
Right.
And I'm just making all my notes.
Yeah.
And then when we get off the phone, I press send.
Do you ever open Trello?
No.
It's just easier to...
It's easier to just start typing.
Yeah.
And then when I get in my email, I will make a card with their name on it. And I'll copy and paste my notes. And sometimes I'll leave them in Trello for a little while. Yeah. And then as I've gotten to know them or realized they're not ready yet, they may be moved over to prospects.
Okay.
If I can get a current address, I'll put them on my database as well, depending on who they are. But it's also tough because sometimes they're in transition.
Yeah.
Like they're in a rental.
Right.
So I'm just not ready to put them on my database because they don't have a permanent address yet.
Okay.
And we're still forming a relationship. So Trello to me is like, I don't know you super well yet. Yeah. And you're not on the database yet.
But it's someone that you talked to about real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some examples in a minute. But first, let's talk about how to decide if someone is right for your database.
Mm.
Okay. So if you get a person, these are the qualifying questions you can ask yourself. And these, y'all, are in BYOB, Build Your Own Business 101.
Yeah.
So I'm just pulling out the questions that we teach in there. How to decide if someone is right for your database. Question number 1. Do I know this person?
Great question.
Do I like them?
Even better.
Do I feel comfortable reaching out to them via phone, text, email, social media, snail mail?
Okay.
Do I feel comfortable asking for their address?
Mm.
If you say no to any of these questions, they are not ready for your database.
Right.
Okay. So do I know them? Do I like them? Do I feel comfortable reaching out to them? And do I feel comfortable, or do I have their address?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you answer no, they go to your prospect list.
Yes.
Which we already said is on Trello, or in my case on paper, but wherever you're keeping the people, that's where they go. Now, let's talk about where someone would go if you met them at an open house.
Okay.
Like they signed up, they filled out your sign-in sheet, you talked to them for a couple minutes. They didn't tell you necessarily what was going on with them, but you've got their information.
So at that point, I would write them down as a pre-buyer on Trello.
Okay.
So that's my cue to actively follow up with them,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps see if I need to get them set up on a search, maybe send them a house or two periodically. And if they continue to be sea crickets,
sea crickets,
and they don't want to get pre-approved or they tell me they're, not ready yet, then I'll maybe slow it down and move them to prospects instead of my actual pipeline.
Okay. What about an email list? Do you have one?
Yes.
Who goes there?
Everybody.
Every email address you get.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Open house, we didn't even talk, but you gave me an email address and a name.
There.
You get to go on there.
Yes.
So basically the big bucket, everyone is in the big bucket. Email list.
If you have an email, you're in the email list is definitely the biggest bucket.
Right. And so like if you are getting online leads or any type of lead where it's like you literally just have a name and an email, they can go on your email list.
Yeah.
That is not your database.
I use MailChimp. It's free up to a pretty high number.
Yeah.
There's several out there, depending on what your goal is.
Yeah.
I don't do a monthly newsletter or anything like that. So MailChimp, the free version, is perfectly fine.
Yeah. People really like Flowdesk, but you do have to pay.
Yeah.
I tried MailerLite, Lite. I thought it was really user-friendly and you could have like at least 1,000 people for free. So there's a lot of different email service providers. Mm-hmm. But the important thing here is let's just keep going with our open house lead. If you have their email and their name, but you know nothing about them or their search, they're not a prospect. You don't even know if they're buying. They could have been a neighbor.
Correct.
So they go on the email list. The email list doesn't need to be stored anywhere but your email service provider. That's not your Google contacts. That's a MailChimp, some type of Constant Contact, MailerLite, Flowdesk, I don't care. An email service provider.
And for those of you that don't have an email service provider, don't get in the weeds of which one is the best one. Just pick one.
No.
Pick one because done is better than perfect.
Look, and you can certainly, if you're not sure you're ready to commit to a certain one or you want the ability to try and go back and forth, you can start a spreadsheet that's going to be able to download as a CSV file. Mm-hmm. That's just name, email.
Yeah, collect them that way. Whatever method you will do.
Yeah.
Do that one.
Yeah. And just call it email list. We want to make sure you're super clear that these things you've collected are an email list.
Yeah.
They're not a prospect and they are not a database member.
I'll share some examples.
Okay.
With how I communicate with mine.
Okay.
My email list.
Let's hear it.
Since I don't do a monthly newsletter because I can't put that pressure on myself.
Too much pressure. We do have a really good episode about newsletters though.
Oh yeah, we do.
Email newsletters.
That is a good one.
We'll find the number and put it in the show notes.
If you're a newsletter person. But mine is always like, if I don't have something valuable to say, I don't want to say anything at all. So when I hear that the feds had a meeting and decided to drop the rate a quarter, that's something where I will just log into MailChimp, say, hey, everyone, I just wanted to let y'all know I've been following the Federal Reserves and what they're doing with interest rates. They just met last week and they announced this. If you have any questions, I'm monitoring the situation. Feel free to reach out to me. That's just a way of being like, it's not, hey, just checking in,
right?
Just seeing. Or if I haven't had something to say in a while, I'll reach out to the guy I use for power washing.
Okay.
Or my painter or something and say, hey, do you want to give me like a code I can send out to my email list? It'll help your business. It'll help mine. And I can just email the email list.
How does that go over?
It goes really great.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a minute because there's been so much to update on.
You've been sharing something with them.
Yes.
Okay.
But it would be good like leading up to summer.
Do you get a lot of unsubscribes? Do you notice? No.
Here's why too. I don't use a template when I email them.
You just type in words.
I just type it. So it looks like I just emailed them.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. It just looks like I emailed them.
Yeah. And you are just emailing them.
But it looks like it came to just them.
I know. We really get in the weeds, I think, on how pretty it can be. But as a consumer, I will tell you, we were just DMing about this yesterday. I gloss over. Yeah. If it looks really pretty and templated, as much as I like aesthetics, as a consumer, I'll just be like, this is so canned that I'm not paying attention. Mm-hmm. If it looks like Alissa just typed me a 2-line email that's like, hey, y'all, this is going on, I'm going to be like, oh, wait, what is she talking about? Yeah. Is it just for me?
It's a quick read and then you delete it.
Yeah.
And I was popped in your head. So if I said, hey, this is for my Baton Rouge and Ascension friends out there. If you have something in your house that needs to be power washed, here's my power washer. He's doing $100 off for my clients. Just mention my name.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice because he'll let me know how many people.
Right, because they had to say your name.
Yeah.
It's not like a coupon code or a link.
You're like, hey, Alissa told me.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
I really like that.
Yeah. So it's like, I just try to keep it, because that's the thing, especially when they're cold leads like that. Maybe I met them at an open house. They didn't talk to me. They put an email. We're very short with their answers. I'm just trying to give them little nuggets so that when they're ready, they remember me.
Yeah. It's just gentle reminders.
That's the goal.
Okay, so let me give a quick description of your email contact. Everyone that you have an email address for and would love to work with someday. Example, open house prospect, vendors, group or organization you belong to. Like I know you've talked about getting a list for people to like be the secretary of a club or whatever.
If you're involved in any volunteer things, they usually have a membership directory that you can just put the email.
You have to be careful probably with spam rules, but as long as you have, that's why you need to use an email service provider.
Yes.
As long as you have an unsubscribe at the bottom, I think, y'all don't quote me, but I don't think you're breaking rules.
Yeah. And mine, even though it looks like I typed the email, if you scroll to the bottom under my email signature,
it says unsubscribe.
And my email signature in MailChimp is the same as my email signature in my email.
Yeah, and I think for the people who do like aesthetics and want to look very professional and pretty, that's where you can get your jollies out on your email signature. It can be beautiful.
Yeah.
But the actual body of the message doesn't need to look like
I find
a magazine.
The more simple it is and the more personal it feels.
Yeah, the more they're going to read it.
And less likely to unsubscribe.
Okay, and the last person on this email contact list was online leads, and quantity here is okay.
Yes.
Okay, quantity is okay. We want the quantity. If you've been collecting warm bodies for a long time, great, dump them all on your email list.
Yes.
But clean up that database.
Database is quality.
Right.
More is not always best. We want to answer those qualifying questions.
Okay, so everyone starts on the big bucket email list. Next bucket down is a prospect. And look, sometimes people come into both buckets at the same time.
I was just about to say that. So everybody in my database is on my email list.
Correct.
Because I feel comfortable asking them for their email.
Yeah, everyone everywhere should be on the email list.
Sometimes if someone from the database calls me to buy or sell, they are now also on my Trello. So they are on the database, the Trello, and the email list.
Right. So you then... big bucket, email, prospect bucket can be the same time someone you have a desire to work with who has talked to you or shown interest in working together. Example, a friend who mentioned needing help to buy in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, prospect. So now you've got your big bucket of emails, your slightly smaller bucket of prospects, and then your last one is your database member. And this is someone you have a relationship with and are comfortable collecting their contact info from and speaking to on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to build a relationship with someone, it doesn't mean you can't contact them on your email list. And it doesn't mean you can't work with them if they reach out as a prospect, but you're not actively trying to get them to send you referrals or be in your database, your sphere.
Right.
They are different. I'm not saying you're turning away business, but it's just like, maybe I didn't have a great experience with this client in the past. I mean, I could leave them on my email list if they want to transact again, but I'm not going to leave them on my database.
If you don't want to work with them, they don't need to be anywhere.
They can just go away.
If they were not kind, if they were rude, you don't have to have them anywhere. And those are usually the ones that will call you anyway in 2 years. Even though you're like, I haven't followed up with you in 2 years and you're still reaching out to me.
Yeah,
it does
for real.
Happen,
it does happen.
The goal here is to keep it very simple.
Right.
If you are in any realtor Facebook groups, people avoid doing this.
Right.
Because they don't want to do it until they figure out what the perfect system is.
A literal piece of paper is okay.
Anything, whatever you will use.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated, and you don't need to store everyone in 100 different places. But this is probably why CRMs turn us off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I've got them here and I've got them there and I don't know. And yes, they're technically on 3 different lists here.
Yeah.
They're on an email list. That's for our email. They're on your database if they happen to be a database member, but that's for us on a spreadsheet. It's very simple. And then they're on your Trello as a prospect.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's okay to have
Yeah.
multiple places where you're checking on stuff.
So to answer our listener's question, anytime I get any type of lead or good conversation with someone, I just write it down first and then decide, where do I need to put this? Does it go in Trello? Do I need to get their email list? Am I friends with them on social media? What do I need to do with this person who I just had this interaction
so that you don't
with?
forget them.
So that
or
I don't
lose
forget
them.
Yeah. That is one big thing I'm really good about, is making checking to see if they have social media.
I would argue that you keeping track and following up immediately is one of the reasons why your business is very successful.
Well, it's weird if you don't talk to them for a month and then find them on social media.
No, immediacy is very crucial here.
And sometimes when I'm leaving a conversation, I'll be like, hey, it was so great to meet you. I'm going to add you on social media.
Yeah,
I'll find you on Instagram.
And then it's not weird.
Yeah, like if I was at Haven's Easter party at school and I met a new mom and we talked and we set up the room together. And then I'm like, hey, it was so great to meet you. I'll find you on social media if you ever need anything. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not weird.
It's not weird. And sometimes they say, oh, I actually don't have social media. I'm like, no worries. What's your number? I'll text you. Just so we have each other's number.
I love how bold you are.
Well, then they're like, oh, yeah, sure. And then it's like, it's funny because I did that one time. And then a week later, that person texted me and was like, do you have the spelling words for this week? She forgot her binder at home.
I mean, people need help.
Yeah.
All kinds.
Did I ever solicit her to sell anything?
No, but I think she'll remember you're helpful.
Right.
As a human.
Yeah.
You're a helpful human.
So, I mean, don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Get it out of your head and onto some sort of paper.
Yeah.
And don't overthink that part.
And then create a process by which you check this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do it once a week, but whatever work, even if it's once a month, it's better than nothing.
Correct.
Like, when are you going to check? When are you going to look at your list? When are you going to be like, oh, these are the people that I have that are prospects, or these are the people on my email list. When have they last heard from me?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if they haven't heard from you in 2 years and you send an email.
For sure.
I don't think it matters.
I've sometimes found myself in just a busy season where I haven't sent anything to my email list in a while. And you don't have to say, hey guys, I know it's been a long time.
No, they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't want your life update. They don't remember the last time you emailed them.
They just want to know if you have something valuable.
Are you bringing value?
The end.
The end. It's actually quite simple.
Yeah.
Anything else on storing the people?
Mm-mm. Well, we do have BYOB coming up in the fall.
Okay, tell them about that.
We're doing together. So we made Build Your Own Business course like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
At least, yeah.
And it was one that you just did on your own. But we have taken it off the market.
It's not there. You can't even have it today.
And we're going to do it together.
Yes,
in the fall, which is the perfect time to update your database. To get your Christmas card list, holiday card list ready. Make sure your addresses are up to date. Because do you know when it's never creepy to ask someone for their address?
When you're trying to send a holiday card?
Yeah. Hey, I'm working on getting my holiday cards out. What's your address?
Right.
That's not
You're
creepy.
like, oh, I like that. Good cheer. I'll take it.
Yes, please. And so we're going to do it together. If you want to be on that wait list to join us in the fall, it's hustlehumblypodcast.com/BYOB.
Yeah, BYOB.
And that way we'll know you're interested and we'll send you the information.
Yeah.
When the time comes.
Yes.
To do it with us. I'm excited
love it.
to do it because I do this every year.
I know. I've actually discovered recently that I really like live teaching. I think it's the most fun.
It's way better.
People can ask questions, and I think y'all are going to have a better commitment level if you're like, these are the days we're going to do it. And we're all going to do it together.
We're doing it together, guys.
Do it together.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's really it.
How about a toast?
Okay, let's do a toast.
My name is Alissa Rojas, and I'm from Forward, Texas. I want to give a toast to my husband, who has been very supportive in my career. Santos, thank you.